Hello everybody, this is Dakota from Dtardfilms, and welcome to the first episode of First World Problems. This is a series where I will be talking about all the small, minute things that don't really matter, but still bug the ever-living shit out of me. I'm gonna be honest, I have a shit ton of topics to cover, but the first one that I feel like I have an obligation to, I have to cover the topic of the Eagles from the Lord of the Rings movies. Because I'm tired of hearing about it, especially since everyone makes such a big, fucking huge deal about it. People always want to understand the Eagles from the Lord of the Rings movies, and since I'm going to be covering this, I'm going to put some restrictions on myself, because one of the first things that people use as an argument is, give me an explanation of the Eagles in the movie without using the book. Because the films and the books are completely different interpretations, they can't be exactly the same. And I get that, I understand that. That is true, that they're not the same, and they can't be the same because one, you have this giant book and you're able to fill in so much information. Movie, you can't do that. You know, when I was young, I always wondered, why don't they just make these great movies super long? Because only people like me would sit around and watch them. I mean, I would have loved to see a 12-hour long The Hobbit, but you know. But okay, alright, back on topic. I can explain these Eagles, no problem, super easy. For those of you who have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, there are two scenes in the Lord of the Rings movies in which giant eagles appear. First scene are when Gandalf and Saruman are fighting on top of a giant tower, right? And Saruman's kind of beating the shit out of Gandalf, and it's not looking too good, and Gandalf ends up summoning this giant eagle, jumps off the tower, and lands on its back. Flies away, perfectly safe. Second time that the giant eagles show up is at the end of the third movie. Spoilers, if you haven't seen the Lord of the Rings movies. At the end of the third movie, after Frodo and Sam climb all the way up Mount Doom and they throw the ring into the volcano, and it's all over, but the volcano starts erupting and shit, and it's just not working out for them. They're getting a little bromance moment in, they're all like, oh, Sam, I love you. Oh my god. You think it's all over, and blah blah blah, and then here comes the giant eagles again, come swooping in slow motion, pick up Sam and Frodo, and fly away. Now that I've gotten that part out of the way, the main reasoning that people have a huge problem with this is because they always say, if they had giant eagles this whole time, why the fuck did they just spend 3 movies watching these dumb assholes walk all the way from point A to point B? 3 movies! Alright, yeah, sure. I get it. I understand. I'm gonna hit those 2 bullet points right now. I'm gonna explain them. The first bullet point being like, why did they just come out of fucking nowhere? And the second bullet, why didn't they just use the eagles from the beginning? Wouldn't that have been easier and just skipping all of the danger? Okay, first bullet point. First off, yes, the eagles just come out of nowhere, but I don't know if you've noticed this or not, Gandalf, he's a fucking wizard. Does all kind of crazy fucking magic all the time. In the movies, in the books, but don't think about the books right now, blah 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 blah, we're not talking about that. Why does it seem to be so difficult to assume that Gandalf just summoned the fucking eagles? Second, it's a spell. Spells are hard to do and they're probably fucking tiring. To keep that up for the whole distance would be insane. Or, if you don't see it as a spell that needs to be constantly casted, which a lot of people do, the giant eagles, as much as they love and worship and want to be enslaved by, or, you know, they don't really cover in the movie, they cover in the book, but as, etc, 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 these eagles would get tired. And they would probably want Gandalf to fly his own ass somewhere every once in a while, and not, you know, every time Gandalf needs to get, you know, loaf of bread, a carton of eggs, and a gallon of milk. And, oh, giant eagles, take me! Come, giant eagles! Let us fly! Like, they'd probably be like, just fucking this guy. They'd probably want him to walk his own damn self to the giant fucking death mountain. Ugh, if they got tired, why don't they just stop and then cast the spell again? Or just let the eagles rest and then get back up? Come on, Dakota, you defend yourself. This is why, you jackass. 2 reasons. Would you watch 3 movies where the whole plot is just, oh, from the beginning, get on the giant eagles, get up, fly. Oh, we're getting tired, land, camp. Nothing happens. Okay, get it back up in the air, fly. They do that like 18 times to span the length of 9 hours. And then they're like, oh, well, we're here. And then they just fly by, drop the ring in, and then it just, done, over. Oh, yay. Great movie. Take my money now. The other reason for this is coming from The Hobbit. In The Hobbit, it shows Gandalf casting this spell. He casts this spell and summons his messenger animal, which is a butterfly. He whispers sensually into the butterfly, and then the butterfly flies away. Presumably taking that information to the giant eagles and telling them, hey, shit just got real. So then the giant eagles come flying in, pick them all up, and fly away. And everyone had the same fucking problem with that too. Why the fuck did you get off the giant eagles? Why didn't you fly the giant eagles all the way over to the Dwarven city and just fuck that dragon in the asshole? Well, I'll tell you one thing. You probably shouldn't be fucking a dragon in the asshole. The second thing, these giant eagles aren't just, they don't just, like, they are living things. They live, they breathe. They don't have the time to fucking deal with Gandalf. Even if they like Gandalf a lot and he's like the only person who can control them, they've got other eagle shit to do. They probably would feel like they're being taken advantage of. This old fart kept calling them every time that he got a little lazy. Plus, every time the spell is cast, or, you know, every time the eagles are called on the butterfly phone, it takes place right before the group is in trouble. Gandalf knows shit's going down, and he calls his butterfly, and then he's all like, boop, 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 hey, what's going on, giant eagles? You need to, you know, get your dicks in check and come fucking help me. And by the time the shit hits the fan, here come the giant eagles to save the day. Now, see, that's my argument, but I have a few other small bullet points that I've been picking up from people over the years when talking about this topic that people just don't seem to want to drop. Especially, it just seems so weird when in other movies there's so much more crazy shit that happens that no one makes a big problem about. First thing I heard is that this was definitely supposed to be a stealth mission, which is true. If they were just going to fly a giant flock of eagles all the way to Mount Doom and just fuck Saruman and Sauron's days up, it's probably not a good idea. Considering that in the Lord of the Rings movies, not that many people were able to find Sam and Frodo on their adventures. Yes, they got caught a few different times by different things, but just imagine, like, oh, that small group of orcs or that fucking spider could have been accompanied by a giant goddamn army. And that's not shit that they would have gotten out of. So flying giant eagles, not probably a good plan. The Eye of Sauron could have definitely seen that coming and sent the giant death rapist dragons in. And yeah, in the movie we see them fighting and the eagles are winning. But in mid-flight, while also carrying all of the people and they're fighting back and forth and tumbling and shit, Frodo would have died and probably been like harpoon spiked on a tree. Like, that's not a good idea. The second biggest thing that I've always heard is that the eagles don't really give a shit, which I've talked about earlier in this video, but they really don't. Like, these giant eagles don't give an absolute fuck about people, or anything really other than themselves. They keep to themselves. Gandalf was awesome. Now they're like, oh yeah, Gandalf, you know, if you ever need something, here, give us a call. And then the last thing that I hear a lot is the fact that these eagles were busy fighting up in the north. Also, these things are separate, intelligent beings. Every other motherfucker can show up 5 minutes before the credits roll, but then all of a sudden, like, the giant eagles show up and they're like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm sure it would have been nice if those eagles would have gave a shit and would have been like, no, you know what? Come on, we're gonna go. Let's do this. They don't have time to do that. They have other things to worry about. You know, like their fucking extinction. If they just were like, okay, everybody, let's fucking go help. Woo, let's go help the shitty humans. they'd get their asses handed them and they'd be fucking dead. It'd be over. They'd be dead. It's over. So you can see why they would be reluctant to save the second shittiest race above ground. Alright, this video is starting to get very long, and I don't know how many of you is going to sit down and, watch this whole thing. But, I thank you if you've gotten to this point, and I thank you for watching. If you have any comments that you want to put at the bottom of this video, go ahead. Don't be an asshole. Like, we can sit here and I will talk to you and we can debate and have a discussion and an argument like a normal person. But the moment that shit starts getting heavy down there, I'm gonna have to start pulling some people, and and we don't want that. We just let's just have a nice discussion about this, because every time that I see people arguing about this on like forums or in life or on the internet and videos, everyone's just like, fuck the Lord of the Rings movie, that piece of shit, fucking plot holes, God. And then the other people are like, dude, I fucking like that movie, go suck a dick. And they're both just really fucking aggressive to each other. This is a place where we can talk about it nice and calmly. And like, if you don't like the things that I've said in this video, tell me why. Give me something to tell me why you guys don't see the easiness of this, and why you're seeing it as a plot hole. We will get through this together as the internet, the series of tubes. Alright, we have reached the end of this video. This has been Dakota from Dtardfilms, signing off. Check you guys later. Sam, I love you. Oh my god.